Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And guess what? We just hit Twitch partner today. It's a day of celebrations, also Lunar New Year, so it's just everything's turning up amazing. Let's get started with the 4 great decks today, including our first look back at Ares after his first day after I streamed him for like 3 straight hours. We're going to kick it off, though, not with an Ares deck, but with Husky Puppy's take on the Alex Kocha deck. I guess this is sort of a mix between the Alex Kocha and Eco versions, but Husky's innovation here is adding magic, because this is a deck that only really loses to its own draws. And what we're ultimately doing with this deck when we run magic is we're saying, well, if your opponent can't stop you, you're more likely to see those nut draws, and if you see those nut draws, good luck losing that game. Really, really great idea for Husky Puppies that I wanted to get to everyone as soon as possible. You can find Husky at Twitch TV, Husky Puppies 35. This deck needs Bullseye, MODOK, Dokken, and Frigga. They are non-negotiable, unfortunately. Scorn, however, is not needed. Every time I cover this deck, people are like, I need Scorn. No, you don't. Meek, Gambit, Grandmaster, all perfectly fine. Also, worth noting, before we get any further, I left this here as a note to myself. Marvel Snap is back on the Google Play and Apple iPhone stores. As of right now, it's obviously still on Steam, so you should, for most people, still be able to go get Marvel Snap. They are now self-publishing, which is going to be really, really interesting because everything falls on their head. They're going to have to be hiring a lot. This is going to be an exciting new time. All right, top meta Husky. This is an absolute cube thief. It's only like 57% win rate at high infinite, which is still pretty high, but the cube rate for this is through the roof. The magic, the just explosiveness of this list is unmatched. Turn 1, you want Blade if Swarm as a priority. Basically, you will almost always drop what you're doing to Blade off a Swarm. Getting extra Swarms is one of the major win conditions of the list. You need Swarm down to 0. The other thing that this deck really, really needs is 2 scalers. Actually, let's look at the list while we talk about this. The list needs 2 of its scalers, and then it wants Bullseye and MODOK. That's why you need the extra turns, right? So double Morbius with Frigga will do. Collector and Morbius will do. Dokken with shards multiplied, or 2 Dokkens will do. Any of those are totally fine, and they work as scalers to win. That's why the Moon Girl and the Frigga, excuse me, lost the name Frigga for a second. That's why the Moon Girl and the Frigga in the list, because both of those cards, when combined, allow you to get those extra cards that you want, right? Like if you have 7 turns, you can Moon Girl off of Morbius on turn 4, and then you can just double play Morbius on turn 5, and you can still do all your other combos, and everything works out regardless of your draw. Okay, so turn 1, you want Blade if Swarm as a priority. Turn 2, Collector over Morbius. However, if you're going to play Morbius into Frigga, you'd probably rather do that than play Collector. Morbius just gets bigger than Collector, even if Collector is very good. That's better than Colleen if Scorn or Swarm. Cool. Although, again, remember, I would Blade a Swarm off over anything else here, including playing Collector or Morbius. You cannot Colleen a Swarm if Collector and Morbius are in hand. That's why they come first. They all cost 2. You risk hitting one of your important cards. Turn 3, you want Frigga on Collector or Morbius over Dokken over Magic. You're perfectly fine just dropping Magic here. Turn 4, you can Moon Girl. Or you can drop 2 2s. You can also drop a Frigga on a Dokken, or if you ended up playing a 2-on-3, you can drop a Frigga on that. Turn 5, Magic or Bullseye with a 2. And then turn 6, you want to play MODOK and Scorn, then trigger Bullseye. And like if you have a 7th turn, then you just have another turn to play all your stuff out. And then you still want to play MODOK and Scorn, and then trigger Bullseye on turn 7. And that's generally speaking your goal. Sometimes you'll leave Scorn in hand. It's not like there's a Dracula where it's super important to get out, but usually it's relatively big by the end, and it's better to just play the damn like extra 8 power card. So that's how you play this list. This is one of the best lists in Marvel Snap period right now. I think that this is around some people are higher on this than I am, right? Like Lambie thinks this is one of the best decks in Marvel Snap. I think this is like a tier below Move Bounce. I think this is a tier below the best mill decks and so on. But maybe the Magic brings it up a tier. I don't know. Either way, this is one of the most played and popular and powerful decks around. If you would like all of the most played and popular and powerful decks around, please hit that sub button, like, and comment. The bottom right of this screen, you see a little YouTube button. If you click that, you are subscribed. And in return, you will get at least 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos. This coming week, you will in fact get at least 8 videos. We actually very often do 8, 9, 10 videos. We stream almost every day. If you want the most consistent Marvel Snap content with the best decks, this is the place for you. We're also giving away an Iron Patriot this week, so all you have to do is sub, like, And then later this video, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. Your comment there will enter you to win an Iron Patriot, which also gives you a Dokken by the by. All right, Ares is the card that came out today, 4/6 on reveal. Compare the power of the top 3 cards of both decks. If your total is higher, plus 6 power. So I shared a deck yesterday. As of recording, in about 40 games at High Infinite, that deck had a 64.6, 65% win rate. So that list works. It's a big idiots list. This is a big idiots card. It can go in other decks, but thus far it has proven entirely replaceable. Now, we will soon have Thaddeus Ross coming next month. That's a 2/2 that when your opponent misses an energy, Thaddeus Ross draws you a 10. The month after that, we get Starbrand, who's a 6/8 who gets +2 power for each 10 plus in your deck. Neither one of those really loves Ares, but because you're running such a high curve with both of them, you're probably going to throw Ares in there anyway. So this is a card that right now is just a regular card in Idiots decks, but should be getting better in the coming months. If that deck style is your archetype of choice, then you should be getting the card. And if it's not, well, I'm going to show you a couple other lists coming up that we can look at, including the one I had most success with on day one, which is this Hela list. War, Death, King. The king here is because Toxic Soul King sent it to me. Thanks, Tox. You're the best. All right, so Toxic Soul King sent me this list. This list absolutely crushes. This is the best Black Knight has felt in a million years. I actually have a different regular Black Knight deck from Roram that I'm planning on sharing within the next couple days. But this is just a Hela Black Knight that sings. This list sings. I know it looks weird. It looks like you're just doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, turn 4 comes. And as long as you've seen any of your discard stuff and you've gotten a couple cards out, you just go off and put out crazy power. So you can find Toxic Soul King at twitch.tv/Toxic Soul King TTV. He found this list, I think, on Untapped with a small sample but a high win rate, and thus he took it to play and killed with it. So he sent it to me too. I played this list for 10 games. My testing days are all 10 games of Marvel Snap. I play 10 with each deck, and then I take a look at other people's stats, and that's how we get which deck to feature on day 2. I'm streaming those on Twitch and YouTube, by the way, so you can go check that VOD if you're interested. This deck needs Black Knight, War Machine, and Blink. You need those 3 cards. Those are like Series 5 cards, right? But they're older Series 5 cards. Blink was a Season Pass card. Black Knight was like over a year old. War Machine was an extremely popular card, so hopefully you have these. If you don't have Ares, you can just run like a Cull Obsidian or a Crossbones. It's actually not that important that it be Ares specifically. You're not like getting double triggers off him as a general rule, so he's just a 4/12 a lot of the time. You're fine running a 4/10. Obviously, a 4/12 is better, but whatever. So Black Knight here is great. There are ways to win this without Hela, but they very often will involve your Black Knight making either a 4/10 Black Cat or a 4/12 that you can drop early. Shang is starting to show up more because Ares means Idiots decks. Black Knight thus offers you some real extra potential. Plus, you don't have a lot to do early, so just being able to make big things is nice. Blade is here early. You have to be very careful with Blade. You really want Blade to hit Infinite. You will hit Death, but not until about turn 3. You would really rather save Death in hand, especially if you've drawn Hela, because you have to be careful with Lady Sif, right? You don't want to risk Lady Sifing Hela if you can avoid it. You'd much rather you have Lady Sif guaranteed to hit Death. So that is Blade's main use here. You are only ever really discarding those 2 cards and nothing else. Ebony Maw is a card that's just big. You can afford to play it relatively early as long as you have War Machine, or you can afford to play it on 5. The only 5-drop you run in this list is Blink. So a lot of times turn 4 in this list will be like a War Machine, then turn 5 will be a Hell Cow and a Ebony Maw, and 14 power is pretty good for a turn 5 in Marvel Snap without any real downside since you played War Machine. Sif is here to hit Death. I will, especially if I have War Machine in hand, risk the Lady Sif 50/50 with Hela and Infinite, because if you have War Machine, Infinite can still win you a lane just freaking fine, especially if you got the Black Knight stuff going, right? So don't hesitate to do that. It's not really a big deal if you end up Lady Sifing Hela. Obviously, don't just willy-nilly Lady Sif Hela. That's not the goal, right? You would still rather play Hela, but you'll be fine if you must, and you have no other plays to take that risk. Turn 4, your priority play is War Machine because you want that backup plan, unless you already have Ebony Maw out, but even then you want to be able to get into that Ebony Maw lane, so on and so forth. I generally speaking, if I have Hela, I will play Ares over Hellcow, though keep an eye on what's in your deck. If your deck is like Black Knight, Blade, Ebony Maw, Lady Sif, maybe you don't want to Ares at this point, at least in the first week of the card's existence. But it is just big stats that you can get on the board. It's very effective. Hell Cow is meant to be your turn 4 or 5 play. You can play Hell Cow really, really effectively on turn 4, largely because you just activate him. Like, you can activate Hell Cow and then play Blink right away on top of that Hell Cow, which is part of why you want to do it on turn 5, because once the discard has happened, turning Hell Cow into, and the only cards it can become are Hela, Infinite, and Death, is obviously extremely strong. If you've drawn other cards or discarded other cards, it's really likely to be Hela. It's great. Black Cat is discard. I don't know. It discards itself, and it's the only 4 you're likely to discard. So you're very likely to end up getting, like most games, I was getting a Black Cat, an Infinite or a Blink, and a Death. That's plenty of power to win the game because Hell is a 6/9. Blink is here. You can blink on turn 5. I tend to hold blink till turn 6. I'd rather play a 4 on 5. Blink is my emergency. Go find Hela. But if you on turn 4, right, you play an Ares and you don't, or War Machine and you didn't hit, or you didn't see anything great, and you know you have Hela, Infinite, Death in the deck, or if you just have Infinite Death in the deck and you have Hela in hand, feel free to blink off that card that's not especially useful. Go get yourself something big and pretty. Hela's Hela. Hela brings back, again, Infinite, Death, Black Cat as a general rule. That's how it works. Sometimes another card with Hell Cow. Totally fine. Tons of power. You are playing 9, 29, 41, 51 power with Hela in this list with those 3 cards. It's pretty nice. Infinite is the biggest thing to bring back. Obviously, be wary of Fenris Wolf if you're playing this with Infinite, but outside of that, you should be totally fine with Infinite. If you see Fenris Wolf, it might be time to run or go the War Machine game plan. You can also, the War Machine game plan just means like you play Infinite out on turn 6. You don't have to skip anything. You blink off, you play like an Ares or a Hell Cow on turn 5, and you just say, I got some decent power, and then sometimes Infinite just wins the damn game. And then finally, Death. Death is here because she's nice and easy to discard. That's her main use here. She lets you run Lady Sif, and that's very, very valuable in the list. All right, so I went 8 and 2, 80%. Toxic went 12 and 4, like a 72%. It ended up averaging out to 75%, so that's what you saw in the thumbnail here. Turn 1, you want Black Knight over Blade if Infinite. I would actually consider Blade if Infinite over Black Knight, depending on what my hand looked like. You can also play Maw, but be very careful with Maw unless you have War Machine. Turn 2 is the same as 1. Turn 3, you Sif if you have Infinite or Death. I will often take the Hela 50/50 if need be, but I'd rather play like a Black Knight and Blade or give my last Maw out. Turn 4, War Machine is better than Hell Cow, which is more or less equal to a Shard, depending on the size of that Shard and if you think your opponent might be running Shadow King, and those are better than Ares. Ares is good, but not important. Turn 5, you want Hell Cow over Ares and a 1. And then turn 6, you want Hela or Blink for Hela and Infinite. That's, again, if you played Hela on turn 5, you can play the 1 and then Hell Cow, trigger the Hell Cow Hela, and then you're going to get one of the high-end things. If you manage to not pull that off, you've got a big Ares there that you don't really want to blink off. You can play a Black Knight, Blade, or Ebony Maw, again, assuming War Machine, with that blink and hope for the best with that Hela because you've only got a few cards in your deck. You can also just drop the damn Infinite. Cool. This list was insanely good. Go play it, especially if you're looking to hit Infinite. You're going to hit Infinite with this list, I think. I think this is absolutely insane. Go play this. So I dominated. I'm around rank 270 now. I had a bad couple days at the end of last week, and then today I just absolutely crushed. So I have no idea why the next deck worked, but it did. I know exactly why this list worked because it's incredible. Go play this list. Hey, we're going to have a big celebration with a bunch of giveaways on Twitch at some point this weekend. I have to figure out how to schedule it. We hit Twitch Partner today, our first try, so awesome, absolutely amazing. We also stream here on YouTube. We should be streaming at some point today. Now, the Lunar New Year means my son and I don't have we're free today, and my son has swimming, so I got to see if my mother is taking him to swimming or not. I think I'm streaming at something like 3:30 p.m. Eastern today. It might be a little earlier, it might be a little later, but I'm pretty sure I'm streaming at some point today, so make sure you check me out on Twitch, and I'll be streaming here on YouTube too. All right, season pass question. Ares impressions. What are your Ares impressions? Tomorrow we'll have the pros giving their first impressions of Ares, a bunch of top players. What are your impressions? And you don't have to have bought the card to have impressions. If you played against it, what did you think of it? Again, I think this card is good but fairly middling. I played a decent amount of Ajax today, and people playing Ares didn't even always get it off against that list. So I don't know. It's a good card. I just don't think it's incredible. Okay, next up we have Okolat, who is a regular stream viewer. I was like, hey, I'm having a lot of success with this, and this list doesn't make sense, but go try it. This list really worked. I don't know why, but this I won 70% of my games, and it felt really, really strong. It felt like it was really disruptive and doing a lot to really bother opponents. One thought though, I'm not sure if Cosmo should be Mobius and Mobius given the current meta. So this deck needs Scar, Surtur, and Iron Patriot. Iron Patriot's incredible and a key piece. Turn Ares can be color crossbones. You're totally fine. You're running extra ones, and you usually have prio. Spider-Ham and Nico can be Iceman or Quicksilver. Grandmaster can be Cable. You can also throw like a Juggernaut type thing in there. Fastos can be Hope or Gladiator. Fastos decent here, not amazing, but decent. Hope could be every bit as good though, so like don't sleep on adding Hope in that spot. And Red Hulk and Emperor Hulkling can be Magneto, but you're probably gonna need one big six that has upside. I won the funniest game ever where there was a Death's Domain, and the Red Hulk my Emperor Hulkling became null, and I just played a 70 power Emperor Hulkling. That felt good. So why is this so good? So Nico, turn one, you want Nico if Destroyer Demon over Ham. If you have Nico and Ham in hand and Nico isn't a good thing, if you don't have Iron Patriot, I'll pass until 2 and see if Nico wants to give me a draw 2 or turn into a demon. Turn 2, Iron Patriot over Okoye over 2 1s. Again, this at that point the 2 1s are just like whatever other Nico thing, like double power or whatever. Turn 3, Surtur or Fastos. You're gonna have to look at the board. If you've got areas coming up and a bunch of big stuff in deck, then perhaps you want Surtur. Fastos is still very good here though, so don't sleep on Fastos either. Turn 4 is Ares or Grandmaster another 2. I actually really like the Grandmaster and another 2 play. I doubled up on the Okoye a few times, which was very powerful. I doubled up on Spider-Ham if they played their card. Be careful to keep that kind of thing in mind. You can also just get an extra Iron Patriot card, which is nice as well. Turn 5, you can play Scar or Ares, and turn 6 is Red Hulk or Hulkling. Because of the way Scar works here, actually maybe Scar could be Sasquatch. I lost the name of the card. I'm like, white card, but the brown variant, but the hairiness. Sasquatch could probably be Scar because you're not really making Scar especially cheap in this list as a general rule. However, this list is awesome and definitely worth playing. Again, if you change Fastos or don't have Fastos and have Hope, you can play your turn 4 play on that Hope, and then that's going to give you a Red Hulk or Hulkling a turn early as required, which would be really, really nice for obvious reasons. So I think this list is awesome and very fun and has a lot of play to it. And I kicked ass with it. So I don't know what else to tell you. We're going to look at one last list right after this. Props to Okolat. Welcome to the first time on the show, my friend. And we will continue going on. But first, that Ajax bundle is out. I did a couple Saturdays ago a big review of every Datamine bundle in Marvel Snap. And I came to the conclusion that of all the bundles that have a Series 4 or 5 card, this one was the best financial value for you, the best progress value. Now, that progress value is merely good, like half a step below good, because it's 200% is usually our baseline for what we consider good and a good buy. This is slightly lower than that. The big caveat to that is if you don't have Ajax, you should really buy this. Ajax is an excellent card. You can buy this and then like start saving up for that anti-venom bundle with all the extra stuff we're going to get from the downtime compensation. So 3,500 credits is great. If you are missing Ajax, I think that this one is an excellent buy. It ends up being about Ajax and another card worth of value, which I think is, again, worth the money if you are the type of person to spend on Marvel Snap. We also have the stream team. Our friend GamingwithFlashX will have a stream out tonight. Playing these lists, by the way. All right, I actually sent him the hella early, and he was like, what the hell? Why does this keep winning? Right? It's just way too good. All right, Mr. ELA sent me this Annie list. He actually sent me like 3 lists. This is the one that he thinks is the best of them. It is a Wiccan Annihilus list, which is really cool. I think that this is I also really miss Penny Parker. That card is really good and struggles a little to find homes because um, it has the same problem Misery had, where like Misery came out, and then immediately they released a bunch of good fours. Penny came out, and then they were like, oh, by the way, here's Iron Patriot, and here's Cape, and here's not Cape Bishop. Here's Iron Patriot, and here's Victoria Hand. Go. So shit happens. But this list is very strong and very consistent, and really does a great job at shutting down a lot of the meta. Like your opponent, that when they can't scar, your opponent swarms not being zero, etc., are all very powerful plays. So you can find the LA at twitter.com/E with 5_LA. This deck needs Kate, Wiccan, Annihilus, Sasquatch, and Mockingbird. Penny can be Iron Patriot, Cable, or Spider-Man. In fact, I might like it better as Spider-Man if not for the Wiccan, because this I want the Spider-Man. I'm in love with the Spider-Man Viper combo to get rid of a Sentry card. Oops, wrong way. Penny can be Mobius can be Cosmo or Rogue. Again, Mobius is excellent into this current meta, and finding decks that can run Mobius is one of the ways you can gain extra cubes. Turn 1, you want Hood over Quicksilver. Quicksilver's here, obviously, to guarantee your stuff. Hood's here because it works really well with Viper and Annihilus. Turn 2, you want Mysterio if Mockingbird or Sasquatch. Otherwise, you play one of the other twos. If you're looking for a quick Wiccan play, then your best bet is going to be Penny. If you go Penny into Spider, you can then on turn 4 play your Sasquatch because you'll have 5 energy. You played 1 card that turn, so Sasquatch is playable. You would rather turn 3. Sorry, Mockingbird or Sasquatch if you can on turn 3 is great. If you can go Quicksilver or Hood into Mysterio into Mockingbird or Sasquatch into Wiccan, you've probably won that game. Wiccan over Sentry on turn 4. Also, if you have that Spider planned, you can play that Sasquatch. That's fine too. Turn 5, Annie or Viper into 2. You can also feel free to drop your Sasquatch or Mysterio and like a Mobius here if you're worried about your opponent's doing, which is a really great way to like snap and win if you think they're gonna do swarm shit or some of the other like they're gonna try and get a cheap scar or whatever, and then you drop them your Mysterio and your Mobius, and then you drop Sasquatch and Mockingbird to end the game. Chef's frickin' kiss. So the other of Sasquatch, Mockingbird, and whatever you can is the last turn of the game. And then, yeah, enjoy. All right, this list is awesome. I missed this list. This is sort of, I don't know, a descendant of the Cook. Oh, well, it's just really strong. Throwing Wiccan into this is a stroke of genius. It allows you to do absolutely silly things, right? If you go Wiccan on 4, your turn 5, you have 7 energy, right? So if you play Sentry and then a couple Kate Bishop arrows, you can have like a Nihilus and Mockingbird and shit like that. Or you can play Sentry, a Mysterio, and an arrow, and then you can play like Sasquatch Mockingbird. It's just there's a lot here. The list is awesome. All right, Lee asks every week, what cards should have come with Ares? So I think the 3 are Phastos, Surtur, and War Machine. It might be soon for Surtur to come back. I understand that they don't like doing that. So I think Phastos and War Machine would have been pretty good. We can also end up doing something like Hope and War Machine. I think War Machine, it's about time for War Machine to come back, and that's a card that makes sense. Usually I would say Scar, but we know Scar is already coming as Dynamind with Starbrand. So I'm not super worried about that. I think people can wait for that. The other piece the other card would be Cull. Cull could have come back. YOLO Potato Man asks how I've been doing with Balatro. So I have been a little bit addicted to Balatro when I'm not playing Marvel Snap. I play it a lot in bed. I play it a lot like as I'm traveling, as I'm waiting for my son to do things. I downloaded it on New Year's Eve, like literally at like 8 or 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and gave it a bunch of games. I have a second account on my Steam Deck /Steam that I keep meaning to stream, but it like 4 people watched the first time I did. I'm a little addicted. I'm not like super addicted. I'm a little addicted. I've cleared almost every black stake. Um, I'm trying to clear every stake with every deck before I move on to the next one. And I think I've got 2 decks left to clear black stake with. I still really enjoy it. At some point, once I get to like a reasonable point, like I'm gonna get frustrated and then just play the decks I like as high level as I want, which is what I ultimately do. That games like Slay the Spire, I cleared Ascension 17 with Silent, my favorite Slay the Spire character, and then I got kind of bored with Slay, right? like I just realized I wasn't having as much fun pushing rank anymore. So I play on like Ascension 1 through 5 with just silent, and I win most of my runs, but I'm having more fun because like I'm ultimately just competing with myself, right? There's no other person. Eventually I'm gonna get to that point with Balatro, I can feel it, but I am enjoying the game a lot. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. If you'd like to check out our Patreon, please do so at patreon.com/snapjudgments. We got some new people today. Thank you to the OG, though, Abigail Gieselin, Mandatory Burnout, It Regardless, David G. Wingfield, Dirty Casual, Always Kind, LAB, Fought Thor Newman, Inc. I am Frostman, who hung out with me for ages today. Thank you, Frostman. Hota Navarrete, YOLO Potato. Hey, we just got a question. Thinking Poker of the Thinking Poker podcast. Prime Bryant, our sponsor of Snap Judgments League Season 5. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Burke, Burkev, Ryan Wood, Woody, Caretix Lee, the King of Questions, Koirei, coming all the way from Japan, who hung with me too, Kazushi, hopefully you're doing well, friend, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, welcome back, friend, Pyro Frost up Pyro, the Goat Saker, who also hung today, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, who has an awesome question that will be in tomorrow's video. Thank you, Synth, for hanging as well. Quid Bro Joe, what's up, Joe? Snap Decisions Joe, check out the Snap Decisions podcast. Front Nick, the Greek Geek, has officially joined the $10 Patreon. Thank you very much, Nick. You should check Nick out on Twitch. He's been doing a massive amount of work behind the scenes, helping us out with our stream and making sure everything is cool. Thank you to Mr. Kerfuffle. Hey, Kerf. Thanks for hanging. Cables, Ginger Prime. What's up, Ginge? Philip Rakovich. Racko. Haplo. Racko has a really cool Scar deck that we'll get to soon. Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone. Rob Silverman. The Bizza. Notoriously, the Bizza. Black Jeebus 23. X15 and Skippy G. Rhyming Friends. Hello, Jessica Gamble. Slush Death. What's up, Slush? King of Bros. Bro. Thank you for the gifted. You're the king. The Great Kazoo. Oh, wait. Was that you today or Mikey? Shit. One of you did like one day and one of you did another recent day. I'll thank you both. You're also both awesome people. Great Kazoo. Werewolf, thanks for hanging and thanks for the kind words. Kev Seahoda, what's up, Kev? Luna Chris. Corman, Chuck and Jimmy Q, Cube Down, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Yistout, Ren, Wrench. What's up, Ren? Thanks for checking out. Thanks for reaching out. I just saw your message earlier today. Drop me a line if I can help. 8th Sage, Mod Supreme Models, our favorite Osborne the Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan56, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., and M. Holland. It's real name town. The Fuzzy Spectrum Mix Hood, Matt V. and Matt H. We got Matts. Take it to the Mats. DJ, Mikey, Hijinks, thank you for the gifted. Again, you've both gifted within the last like 3 days, and it is now almost 1 in the morning. Shh, don't judge me. No frickin' flex, Mr. Ocularis. What's up, Acu? Also gifted a whole bunch recently. Mr. Craig Sterry, BG, Zodrex, the King of Canada. Haven't seen you in a bit. Hopefully you're doing well, Canada. 10, Man Falcon. Speaking of people who gifted, Jonesy. It's Jonesy of the Triple Threat who's crushing it with his own content. You need to go check it out. Our friend Two Ties. Oh, did I skip Denman Falcon? I'm so sorry, Mr. Falcon. Laura Whatevs, who joined her first stream ever, made my day, and then went to record something. I'm curious what. The Pirate King Tuccrr, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for. Tomorrow is a 2-video day because tomorrow is an OTA. Get ready, hit that sub button. You don't want to miss out, and I'll see you hopefully on stream later. If not, I'll see you tomorrow in the video. Make yourself happy. Hit that sub though. Peace.